Hello, and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Steven Universe Future, which we'll be talking about tonight. I'm your host, Alex Bonilla, and today I'm joined by Michelle Andrew.
Hello.
Maddie Potter.
Hello.
And Ellie Martin.
Hi.
Today we are back to talk about Steven Universe Future. We took a short hiatus, and now we are here in the final stretch of episodes before the series says bye-bye forever. Tonight we got the first two episodes in a while, In Dreams and Bismuth Casual. You can find more about our podcast, including previous Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future coverage at overlyanimated.com. You can find us on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can also find us on YouTube at youtube.com/overlyanimated. So yeah, with most of our shows, we're switching to a bit of an overall focus type situation. But Steven Universe is one of our last remaining legacy shows that we've covered from the very beginning of this podcast. So it stands to reason that we should give it the farewell it deserves with keeping it on the micro level coverage, just giving our immediate reactions. And here we are, just like about half an hour or so after it's aired. So we'll go through immediate reactions, how we're feeling about this dive back into Steven Universe for the last time. Michelle, let's go to you first. Of these episodes, In Dreams and Bismuth Casual, what are your initial impressions or thoughts you want to get out?
Steven is still sad and doesn't know what to do with himself. Bismuth's really gay for Pearl, and I love it. Oh my god. I mean, we'll talk about it. I think these are interesting episodes to have together. And I'm definitely curious to see where things are going to go from here, because I feel like they're going to follow the more In Dreams Steven angst route than necessarily just lovely gay all the time. But, like, we got both tonight. Maybe there will be more of that, too. I liked both these episodes. So I feel like the second one was just, like, so many great things all the time. And In Dreams was a lot more of like, okay, this is like interesting. Where are we going with this? Oh, that's where we're going with this. Well, that makes sense. So I mean, I feel like Bismuth Casual is just definitely more of a standout for me. But, if In Dreams was more gay, I mean, I was kind of like wondering if Steven's self-insert character was going to fall in love with the guy in his stream version of the show. And if it, it never actually went that hard. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
So, you enjoyed the gayer episode. What a shock. Good to know. Maddie, let's go to you now. What are your initial thoughts about these two eps?
Just by watching these two, I really feel like this is setting up the next 8 episodes, right? Mm-hmm. Are gonna be about it feels like each episode is kind of like a sending off for a character. Like this one's the sending off for Peridot. We're not going to see much more about her, and we focused on kind of this theme of fixing people because that's his whole relationship with Peridot. His whole relationship with Peridot is fixing her and fixing quote-unquote evil gems. And I think that was an interesting way to send her off. I don't know if the episodes landed at all the times, but I think it was funny. I think it was cute and reminded me a little bit of earlier Steven. And then the next episode, sending off Bismuth, I think, instead of Pearl, was also really cute because it kind of had this message of just moving on and moving forward. And I think it was really great. And we also got a Stefani moment too, obviously. It was really gay. And I don't know if I could talk about how much I liked Bismuth Casual, because there was so much going on that episode that I don't know if I could dig into all the gay. But I also I really loved all the different flavors of lesbian that were there. There was Pearl met up with these girls, and apparently Pearl has gotten all their numbers. And I don't think Pearl understands what that means.
She just keeps bringing them toilet paper.
No, but she clearly had asked for their numbers or they had asked for her number at the very least.
Can you imagine if they're just asking her for their number to get more toilet paper?
Oh my god, yes!
God. That would be so good, though.
She's got the hookups.
That would be really good, though.
Yeah, don't worry. We will definitely dig into the gay as much as we can in this episode. Don't you worry. But Allie, before we get to that, Allie, your overall impressions about these two episodes, or something in particular you want to pull out?
Well, they pretty much covered it. The gay really distracted me from the first episode, but there is, because there's so much going on in both, but definitely in Dreams is, there's more baggage that we still have to get past. Like Michelle said earlier, where's this going? Oh, we're going here. But then where is this build up going? I want to see Jasper again, and it's all of the stuff that does need to be not fixed. That's terrible, but continued. I didn't think about it as sending off characters, and now I'm just sad, but it's beautiful in that way too.
Yeah, I'm honestly also kind of sad when Maddie brought it up, because I knew in the back of my head, there's not really much place in the world for Peridot anymore, so I gotta embrace this while I can.
But I mean, that's what it's about, though.
Think of that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
but it fits Peridot very much. That entire episode is pure Peridot distilled, so it feels very fitting of her. And yeah, Bismuth Casual is also just a really fun time. We sprinkle in the Steven angst that is the through line throughout this entire future show, and it just keeps going there. But because it's surrounded by cute stuff, it's fine. So, but Bismuth Casual has stuff we're going to dig into, and yeah, in Dreams, it's just really nice to see how far the Steven and Peridot friendship has come, and the ending is just it did not move me to tears, but I felt it welling, coming up, just seeing them hug and cry with each other. It felt very nice. So we'll get into Steven's character, because that's the quote important story stuff. But I think most of us are more excited about Bismuth and Pearl. So let's go there first, because I think that's where we want to pour out here. Michelle, I forget. Do you ship Bismuth and Pearl?
I mean, Pearl is just so gay, you ship her with everyone. It's the easiest character to ship. First season I shipped her with everyone who was there. Yeah, I mean, and the show doesn't even hold back, because I hadn't thought about them in a while, just because you feel it when Bismuth comes back in Bismuth's episode, and she picks up Pearl and tosses her in the air and holds her in her arms. You're like, oh.
And Pearl is squealing the whole time.
Yeah, squealing and laughing. It's and the way she's who do you belong to? Nobody. It's so playful. So when they're in the car and Pearl's touching her arm and rolling her sleeve up, I'm just whoa.
She unbuttons her shirt.
She feels right at home, just being all over Bismuth's body and moving things around. It's if that's not a good foundation to start something, I don't know what is. It's so good. And then we get the back half, because at first it's oh, maybe Pearl's just really doesn't know she's gay with everyone, and that's the appeal of Pearl. But then Bismuth straight up more or less says it to Steven, and I was losing my mind, because it's oh my god, the show's committing to this. This is crazy. It's so good though. I think they would be really happy together. The only sad dawning from the pit of my soul was this is the last nail in the coffin away from Pearl Amethyst forever. And that is a hard thing to be forced with every day forever. But I want to be happy for Pearl and Bismuth, so I won't hold it against them. They deserve to find love. Yeah. Maybe they're open. Who knows? Maybe they'll form with Amethyst. So yeah, I support it though. Yeah, who knows?
That's always the ace in the hole for shippers, isn't it? But what if it could be Polly,
Yeah. I know, what if it could be the polygraph?
But they have two hands.
Yep. That's pretty much where everything ends up. Allie, do you have any favorite Biz Pearl moments that you want to show off here?
Well, definitely the commercial at the end being the song they put on. And then she sings it because she memorized it too. I mean, I'm also a Pearl shipper with everybody. I'm multi-shipper, if you will. I like it. I didn't know how to feel at first, but after watching it play through the whole episode, I was like, okay, I could definitely, yeah. obviously ship this, even if it goes down, even though it probably won't. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can't say it was unexpected, but I didn't really think about it either.
Okay. Maddie, were you at all surprised about how this went down?
I mean, like the dating stuff.
Sure.
Like, no, because it's Steven Universe. I'm not sure how to answer that question. I'm sorry, Alex. I'm just sorry because I mean it's Steven Universe. Yes, I kind of expected them
you
to
have
be
now
gay.
gotten so deep into the pool of gay that this show is that really any pairing comes off as realistic to you now.
Like, okay, I've reached the point where gay relationships are more likely to be than not.
That's true, yeah.
That's the point I've reached on this show. That gay is more expected than straight.
Yeah, that's a fair place to land. I will say, I enjoyed that moment between Bismuth and Steven, where Bismuth is hyping up Steven to hey, you came here for Connie, and in the middle of that, it's Bismuth came for Pearl, and her admitting that, and also I feel like this is a thing other shows have done where you juxtapose the gay couple with straight couples to make it more more obvious that they're a couple. And here in this situation, everybody's paired off in different ways. You got Connie and Steven, you got the friends in pairs. So now that Bismuth and Pearl are paired too, it's just really in your face, look, they're here for each other. And then of course it all comes together in the end, and so it feels great. I also want to highlight Bismuth's ponytail is a very strong look. That combined with the open shirt is really
so
really
gay.
She looks so good. I feel like Pearl's always been a little bit of a soft, a super soft butch, but Bismuth's deaf butch through and through, and it's just so nice. That's part of the appeal of their ship for sure, I'll say.
I agree with you, Michelle. She went straight from soft butch to just be whoa, Bismuth. And it just took that shirt and that ponytail, and that's it.
Oh man, that shirt. I still can't get over Pearl just helping herself to
there
the
was a lot there.
And opening and be don't be afraid to show off your gems. Pearl, you're pimping her out to people, and she's here for you.
She's a Jewish mother now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Don't forget to show off your gem.
Gotta show off your gem.
I'm sorry, it's just the accent.
And I mean,
but it was.
Because they're specifically gems and not humans, this is the only time on Cartoon Network you're gonna have someone unbuttoning someone's shirt down to the middle of their chest.
Mm-hmm.
But Bismuth and Pearl are very strong in this episode. Also, Pearl has random friends, which is an interesting
They're
development.
not random, they're her fan club.
Yeah, they're her fan club, according to someone. I forget who said it, but someone says it
I
in
think
the episode.
Bismuth said that.
Oh yeah, maybe it was Bismuth.
I think Pearl thinks they're a fan club when really they're just friends.
Did Steven not say it? I don't remember now.
Yeah, but then are they all older people? Did I
Yeah,
they were
They're older, which I love for Pearl too, because she's an older woman. She looks great, but she's also very
a
old.
few thousand years old.
Yeah, that's true.
They would also presumably a car commercial jingle. That's their age demographic. So they get along.
And also, it's all the mom energy, right? That for some reason attracts.
They really appreciate Pearl's practicalness because they're middle-aged and they deal with practical scenarios in their everyday life.
Yeah, she's learning new mom skills from these older lesbians.
Yes!
Is it safe to assume they're all lesbians?
I mean, they all were. They're at least very queer.
Friends.
No, I know. I was please,
Yeah,
God, just let me have this.
I think one of them had a shoulder spikes, like a biker kind of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God! They even had the flowy
a mohawk.
They even had the flowy dress lesbian too. It was just they had all they had 3 flavors of lesbian here, and it was great.
All of the flavors.
Flavors.
I mean, that's really what it was, though.
Yeah. And Bismuth's hair is like ice cream, so now I'm just moving, flavors. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the flavor of Bismuth. That's
Yeah.
the follow-up. The flavors of Bismuth. When Bismuth go on a date and Pearl finally realizes Bismuth's like so mad in love with her, and she's like, okay, like I guess we can do this. And then they, I can't wait. Flavors of Bismuth, it's happening.
Is that
future squared.
episode
It's
title
coming one
supposed
day.
to be a pun?
Michelle, you want the you want the made for adult version of Steven Universe. That's all I'm hearing.
No, I can
No,
see.
wait, no, that's the wrong way of putting it. No, sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Sorry, I meant the adult drama show version of Steven.
Yes, it's
Sorry.
Oh.
I didn't mean to say that there was porn of Steven Universe. I know
Hey.
Like,
Don't. I mean, I'm sure there's Bismuth Pearl erotica on an archive of their own, but let's not get into that. Wait, Michelle, what did you say?
Of everything.
nothing. I want to get away from that conversation.
I'm sorry, I had a slip up, okay?
Okay.
Is the episode title supposed to be a pun? I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
but-
it's casual.
Oh my god.
But I would
Allie,
argue,
come on.
I would argue if you're gay and your business casual, it just makes you look more like a lesbian. Like, you know,
Well, that is
Yeah.
that's Bismuth's
Her and,
wardrobe,
like,
right?
the
She's
outfit.
wearing kind of like
Like,
a business shirt.
lesbian.
Yeah, it's like a huge butch aesthetic to be like business casual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
College.
we got the Biz Pro out of our system. Now we can talk about the serious stuff.
Oh, you think it's out of our system?
I mean, I'm
Alex,
sure
that's
it'll leak into something else we talk about, but I think we got most of the squeeing out of the way.
See.
This episode takes place in a roller rink. I want to briefly ask: does anybody here know how to roller skate? I'm Steven in that I am very afraid of putting wheels on my feet.
I feel
Little
like I
bit.
have gone roller skating like once or twice, but I wouldn't say I know how to do it.
roller skating is much easier than rollerblading, which you need to be a magician to know how to do, because
I don't.
rollerblading you have
Rollerblading
to
is
like
like
learn
ice
how to
skating.
balance. Yeah, you have to learn how to
Crazy.
balance like in the middle of your freaking foot, which is impossible. Roller skating, there's four
Wait.
skates. You can't fail.
Really?
Okay,
There's more
I
skates
think
on rollerblades too.
It
They're
is
just in a different
fine.
lineup.
Michelle, you're saying that, but now I really want to take Alex roller skating because I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that he
Roller
will prove
skating's
us
fun.
wrong. He will prove me wrong.
If you go slow, you'll be fine. The breaking's the hard part, but that's why you go with the date, so you break
Yeah.
into them, and it's like a flirty
Ooh.
thing. By accident.
Ooh.
But,
Yeah. I feel like this-
ooh, I fell on top of you. Oh, clumsy me.
Okay,
Oh.
we're going back to this again. We have to
Heaven.
stop.
No.
We have to stop.
This is
it's
this is related
Beautiful.
because look, Steven misses a lot of opportunities with Connie here. Okay, like he keeps refusing to get help from Connie.
do that?
That would have been very prime flirting opportunities.
I mean,
I
he
was
went.
shocked at how flirtatious Steven was. Like, this could have been a great date opportunity. Connie could have helped him, like guided him on the floor.
Honestly,
You know, and then it happened.
Considerate
On-
type.
honestly, I think that what's happening here is Connie thinks they're already dating, and it's just like,
Oh my god.
and it's just
Oh.
like that, and it's just like not flirting really heavily because she's just like, wait, we're
Yeah,
not already
They
dating?
married. It's fine. It's Steven.
Yeah, like,
No. He's like, she's getting away from me. Like, we're moving in different directions. And Connie assumes, oh my god, I love that.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
poor
what
Steven.
I think this might actually be where we go. Like that's the most Steven Universe direction to go in, wouldn't it? Like to just be like, instead of Connie being like upset or like not into Steven, just be like, wait, what? This is a discussion we need to have.
Well, see, and also this is sort of related as well because through this episode, Steven, his problem is that he feels so out of touch with human communication that he doesn't really understand like how to deal with these new dynamics. At the end of the episode is sort of resolved by them turning into Stevani, a thing he does understand, but that doesn't really resolve the underlying issue, right?
That too!
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. Like, see, but you
Or
can't
any
just
issue.
you can't just fuse every time you don't know what to do in a situation with your best friend. Like, that's gonna come back to
also-
bite you.
It's cheating, technically, because they're two people.
Yeah, and then it's Stefani, they're a whole different person. So they're not even themselves anymore. Yeah, I agree. I was kind of like, this is not a solution for everyday conflict.
And like looking through the lens of Steven and Connie's relationship, you can like sort of figure out like Steven sees him as a friend that can become fusion, and there's nothing in between. Whereas Connie is kind of like, we're dating. That's like closer than being friends, but we don't need to be fusing. And like Steven is kind of missing that middle step there.
But I think this is just more fuel to the fire for like this whole like Connie thinks they're already dating idea, because she's the one that suggests it. She like reaches out to Steven like, hey, you're good, let's just fuse. And it's like she doesn't even like realize there's a problem, because she doesn't like she doesn't really get that Steven like.
Yeah, like when she bragged about it, not bragged, but like when she said to her friends, she's like, it's our thing, fusion. I was like, that seems a little...
And they're holding hands like, I really think that Connie thinks they're already dating. I honestly think that.
I feel like if there's going to be trouble in paradise, it's probably going to come from Steven's end then. He's probably going to mess it up, because he's going to overthink, and Connie's going to be like, I've already sorted this out. But like Steven didn't get the memo. And it all comes crashing down.
Wouldn't it be incredible if Connie like broke up with him and Steven's like, what, we were dating?
Oh my god, what if that happens though?
Wouldn't that be so incredible though? That would be like the funniest thing ever.
Because think about Steven, like even in the movie, like Connie smooches him and he loses his freaking mind, but like it never occurs to Steven to do anything romantic like that. I feel like maybe that's part of it. Maybe Steven doesn't really know how to have a healthy next step in a romantic relationship.
Oh my god, it's Rose all over again.
Stop.
No, what? No.
Oh no.
Different problem.
Well, it definitely does need to be said that they're dating. You can't just like assume. I don't think Connie would assume.
No. I don't think we should assume from this. I'm just saying like they're.
Well, no, I mean like Connie, I hope, would be smarter than that to just assume that they were dating.
Yeah,
any child can be really dumb about romance.
True. That's very
any
true.
child.
Yeah.
And doesn't she like all her like romance stuff is from like those knockoff Harry Potter books? Like I would not be surprised if she has no idea.
Schmaltz. We forget, but he loves schmaltz. Connie doesn't as much as him.
Also, it definitely seems like something that Connie's mom would do. Like, Connie's mom probably hooked up with her dad, and, like, she told Connie the story, and it's just, like, Connie's like, wow, that's really romantic. And from, like, outside perspective, it just, like, looks like normal friend stuff. And it's just, I'm sure Connie's like, I could do that with Steven.
Yeah.
I'm just a little scared. I feel like something...
something bad's definitely going to happen. I'm just saying that, like, I think this is a real possibility now, and I'm totally on board with it.
Yeah, we are definitely setting up something with Steven and Connie, so get ready for that to go through, I guess. I'm
excited. Let's do it.
I mentioned Rose, and that also got me to thinking, there's also the connection that Steven all of a sudden does not know how to communicate with humans anymore, and this is also a Rose-esque problem, like, not being so surrounded by gems that now Steven is awkward around everyone. Here we have it manifested in meeting friends of Connie. By the way, Connie has friends. Good for her. Like, Connie finally has some off-screen development. But yes, Steven just can only talk about gem stuff around them. And this is also a continuation of Steven Universe Future, because we've seen him already be awkward with humans. And, for example, with Lars and Sadie, he has no idea how to really talk to them normally anymore. So I just wanted to highlight that part specifically, since that feels very relatable to past me in term, and I guess all people who have struggled with antisocial stuff, like easing into the world of meeting friends after being isolated for a while, and you don't know how to even like do conversations regularly. So I'm with you, Steven, and it will take time, but eventually you'll get around to it once you've got other issues resolved.
I appreciated
that they... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I do appreciate that what he like said was that, it's easy to talk to Connie when it's like just one-on-one, but he doesn't know how to talk to her with her friends. And I feel like that shift in dynamics a big part of why he's struggling too. Like, it's one that he doesn't know the friends, but two, like, it's different to talk like to your friend in a group than when you're just the only other person around. And And I thought that was pretty relatable also.
And Allie, what you were gonna say?
When they hold on, come back to me.
Believe in you. You got this.
Yeah.
No, come back. I'll get it.
Yeah.
I'll get it. Just hold on.
No, and also, like, over the course of this episode, he eventually gets to a place where, like, he can make jokes with them using his experience. Like, he does use White Diamond in the joke, but it's explained, it's within the context, so it's explained enough, you know? So, like, it feels also like a bit, within this one scene, it feels like a bit of a natural progression from, like, I don't know how to talk to people to, okay, let me find common ground, you know? So it also feels realistic in that way of, like, the first step to becoming friends with new people and, like, start, as you mentioned, Michelle, like, you know Connie from the very beginning of the show, so you can talk to her about whatever, but you need to figure out, like, what to talk with people who don't know your backstory and, you know, start from zero again.
I like that there's, like, a contrast. Well, not really a contrast, I guess. Like, Michelle, you said when he had, or no, Alex, did you say when he had trouble talking to Sadie and Lars? But now it's, like, more, not painful, but, like, because he's home, you know, he doesn't go to school, so he has to talk to kids his age, human kids his age. And that's also, like, oh, it's a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
But the mom joke was funny.
Yeah. Also, they asked, like, what grade are you in? 16?
16.
Are you in AP classes? Oh, Steven. I'm surprised he didn't just say he was homeschooled, because I could imagine this isn't the first time people have asked him about school, and that would have been his, like, ready response, but I guess not.
Yeah, that was weird to me, too.
I guess he's just, like, he has been doing, like, little homeworld for theoretically, like, at least months, maybe, like, a year, and it's just, like, he just doesn't talk to humans at all outside of Beach City, and Beach City humans are, let's be honest, Beach City humans are not normal humans.
Because they interact with gem stuff all the time, that's true. I don't know if Steven's ever talked to someone outside of Beach City, except for, like, maybe in the Mr. Greg episode when they travel, ever.
Like, also, beyond that,
and in
even,
the
like,
Uncle Grandpa episode.
And
but also, like, aren't the people in Beach City a little weird even beyond knowing about gem stuff?
Probably, yeah.
Like, sour cream is here. It's onion. Is onion weird because of gems?
That's true. I swear onion aged backwards in future. I don't know how to handle that.
Well, you know who's kind of normal? Vidalia. And you know what? We never see her, so maybe there's a connection there.
Yeah,
somehow Vidalia's the most normal person in the show, and she had the two weirdest children.
I mean, it's not weird. He just wants to be a DJ. I mean, I don't think it's that weird.
That's weird. He's a DJ before being successful.
Her husband doesn't say real words, so I guess that is a little weird too.
Look, people speak different languages, okay? No need to consider them outsiders.
He's speaking, like, sea language.
Yeah.
He's a sailor, right?
Yeah.
He's a sailor tongue.
He's a shanty, secretly.
He's a shanty! Oh my god!
Anything else from this?
I'm sorry.
Anything else from this episode that you guys want to talk about? Any details?
I kept thinking Mystery Girl was going to show up.
I know.
I'm
upset about it.
I think this is the nail in the coffin. Like, if she didn't show up in this episode, she's not showing up.
This and Mystery Girl. So many coffins of girls that could have been. But no, dang it, it's Bismuth and Pearl.
I'm resigned to Mystery Girl just never showing up again.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. I don't think she's coming back.
Yeah, I think Mystery Girl was supposed to be a metaphor for Pearl moving on.
But she's not moving on if her type looks the same
But she doesn't anymore. It's Bismuth now.
Yeah, it's Bismuth now.
I just want to know where she went.
Allie, Mystery Girl is her own woman, and she can do whatever she wants.
So many girls with numbers too. She's on her bike finding them all. It's like her Pokemon.
Oh my god!
Right.
Mystery Girl is just really poly, and she didn't realize that Pearl was like totally okay with that.
Yeah. No mystery girl check. Anything else from this episode?
I'm reading through the outline. I don't think. Oh, I really liked Connie's friends.
Okay.
Yeah, they're chill.
Lamar
The
and
only thing
Nikki
I
were
get
their
from
names.
my mom's side of the family is stressed out.
Yeah, that was a good
It's like
show.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also like just more casual representation in shows like this. Like that's always great.
Yeah. Between this and
I also really
Glitch
I really
Tech's,
liked
like,
the lesbian.
Oh, the lesbian bikers you were saying, Ali?
I really liked them. That's it.
Okay.
I appreciated that they exist.
Oh.
Also, this is a really hop-in roller ring. Just
Yeah,
like-
everyone's there tonight
Up and
for
rolling.
some reason.
it's a roller ring.
Yeah, but between this and Birds of Prey, it's a real big month for indoor roller skating.
It's the gayest place you can
It
go
is.
on a Saturday night after 7.
I'm glad they're still
After-
alive. Like, for a while, I thought that was like
Time is
something that
relevant.
existed only in
Oh,
like the
that's-
80s, but
there.
When your gay has peaked, you go back to the 80s, which is rollerblading.
Yeah.
Roller
Ah.
skating.
Yeah. And button-up shirts. See, it all comes
It
together.
all comes back to the 80s.
Mhm. Also, the songs were nice. The one Connie
Yeah.
was
Oh,
listening on the radio,
yeah.
and then the song playing when Stevani was doing her.
The song
their
coming
thing.
on with Stevani was so good. It was like
I
that
know,
holding
I think so.
yourself.
That was a really good song. And also, like, hearing Pearl sing her weird freaking car commercial song was super endearing, and I loved every second. It's so her. Like, that's all I can, like, yeah, Pearl, your favorite
Nerd.
song is a commercial. That is so you, 100%. Yeah.
Love it.
It was really good. It was
Mhm.
just like I don't know. It's just like they always find really cute ways to say that Stevani is just like about loving herself, and it's just like the song behind her as she was like hugging herself while skating was just really cute.
yeah, the whole Stevani roller performance was pretty good, and ending with the split, obviously. So
That gave me a really strong reaction. I think I was like, oh, honey, like, I don't know if you have anything down there, but, like, that would really hurt if you do. Which is not important, but I was just like, oh, if you just splits out of nowhere, people can't just
that's
do
the
that.
natural reaction to splits. I get you.
Everyone's just fine.
Yeah, everyone's fine. So I think with that, we'll drift over to In Dreams. The connection is that there's also dancers in Dreams. I have Onion breakdancing as my highlight of the episode.
Yes!
Speaking seriously, the connection between Bismuth Casual and In Dreams is Steven's fear of everyone drifting away from him. In this case, it's manifesting in his dreams. He keeps worrying about everyone not needing him anymore. We open with this whole fantasy sequence of the dance party, and then Temple as Cookie Cat so talks like, no one needs your help. Are you still here?
I've already seen fan art of people drawing this cat as like a whole creature, and I'm just like,
Oh,
wow,
no.
what a surprise standout from the
Honestly.
fans for this episode. The cat.
Oh my god.
I think it was because it was from like one of the early promos that they put out for this episode, so we had like advanced time. But it's also like it's a weird thing.
Okay.
But there's a lot.
It is kind of weird.
There is a lot of weird imagery again, as is wont with like dream episodes. What's like the last big dream episode we had with Steven Universe? We've had a couple, but
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
like
There's so many
Kiki-
episodes that
Kiki's
feel.
delivery service, maybe? I don't know.
yeah, Kiki was pretty recent. Like this also gave me some Chillatid vibes too, where it's like the dreams manifesting and his emotions.
It reminded me a lot of one of the first time. Was that the first time he had the really weird dream? And then, oh man, I don't even remember. It feels like a long time ago.
I think
Yeah.
you're thinking of Chillatid, because that was the first,
Probably.
like, really crazy dream one.
Yeah.
Where he was like falling.
Yeah, falling seems to be a common thing with Steven. In this case, he falls into the void several times too. Other weird images I want to highlight include Yellow Diamond as a pineapple.
Yes.
That seems to be very
my
popular.
God.
very
Oh my
quickly.
God.
Dolphin blue!
Yeah.
Dolphin blue!
And then just White Diamond there made everything really eerie, like something.
Just her heel.
Yeah.
Just that.
If it's that that's all we're seeing of her. It's like flashbacks to the first time, and it's like it gives me bad vibes. I don't know. I felt freaked out.
Yeah, maybe
Something bad's gonna happen, man.
Steven still thinks of White Diamond as the frightening evil villain he needs to take
True.
down.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I mean, fair, yeah.
To be fair, even though this show talks about like trauma a lot, I still think shows kind of brush over the fact that there's a lot of trauma that happens with like he got cut in half. Like that should be a traumatic event that he probably
does
thinks
talk about that in the roller rink.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm just like,
As a joke, just
how
in
do you
passing.
casually talk about how she like pulled you out of your body and just oh my god, this is terrible. Like it was so cringy because it's like this is not appropriate first time meeting people conversation, Stephen. But he just like could not stop talking. It was so
But to be-
painful.
he needed an
To be fair,
outlet.
they didn't know the context. They didn't know the context, so they don't know like how horrible this joke is, at least. But we know.
And it just sounds weird. Like it doesn't sound like a normal thing.
I'm honestly kind of shocked Connie didn't like start like grimacing, like oh god.
Guys, just like anyway, let's go roller skating.
And she was
Yeah,
just
she was
smiling.
there. She saw the whole
Yeah,
thing.
she's
Like-
right next to him.
Like I
Honey, what
honestly
the hell,
think
man?
this is more evidence that she's already dating him. Like she's
It's
just,
like, oh, Steven talking about his trauma.
yeah.
That's
I
fine
honestly
with me.
think that this is what's happening.
Damn,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah. So,
Connie, man, what are you doing?
but yeah, so as evidenced by continuing with Bismuth Casual, the trauma it bleeds in different ways, including in his dreams to various degrees. And this is all surrounded by this whole plot of wanting Peridot to do a better version of the reboots. How do you guys feel about the meta-ness of dealing with reboots and storyboards and all? Like, did it land with you? Maddie, I saw on the chat you were reacting pretty well to that stuff.
Oh, I just liked how meta it was. It felt like I was saying, like I think everything's like a send off to stuff, and I think they're in a lot of ways choosing some of these and choosing these episodes to like that's what it feels like. Obviously, there's 8 more to come, but like it feels like that's what this is. Like it feels like we have this very clear Peridot episode, this very clear Bismuth episode, and we're gonna move on to other ones. But this one felt like it was very much a send off to just like the idea of these episodes that were just focused on this fun, random stuff. And we had so many callbacks this episode to random things they had while making the episodes. And then we also transitioned to just jokes about like actually making the episode itself, like storyboarding and scripting. And it was just a really, I thought it was really funny. And I thought it was just very much a love letter to just the whole process of making Steven Universe. Like we even had Dogcopter in there multiple times.
Yeah.
We
And
did
it was,
have Dogcopter.
It was really
I like
good.
this episode a lot.
We even had the drill in the background when Steven
Yeah.
had a baby, and it was like, oh, that's telling.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when Peridot got to do cool things? No, but
Whoa.
She's doing things. She's doing hobbies.
yeah,
This
things.
is what
But I mean,
she
like-
likes.
I think what
And fiction.
Steven's missing here is this is what him and Peridot have always done. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
get that, I think, ever in the episode that like, yeah, they worked with the crystal gems to stop some things, but right in this instance, like when they're like not doing that, they're always just goofing around all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because, I mean, I feel like, because Steven, part of his thing is still him growing up, because part of what made some of the earlier future episodes sad is when the Crystal Gems would try to do something that would have appealed to him when he was still a kid, and having that not work anymore because he's older and his life's more different now. But like there's some things that he does still enjoy, like Camp Hiding Hearts. I mean, I don't know, it's like interesting though. It's like things are definitely changing, but some things still work in terms of him bonding
But
with his friends.
well, like it's also I think that this episode is like really hammering home. Like, look, he's doing things because he wants to hold on to the connections that he still has, and he's getting very desperate in certain like in this. There's a scene in this episode where Peridot like can already tell that Steven is getting a bit stressed out by the situation. It's like, okay, I'll leave. I'll let you like calm down and stuff. But and then like they like zoom in, like from Steven's perspective, they zoom into Peridot's hand reaching for the doorknob. No, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like he's forcing himself to do uncomfortable things just to like keep any friendship that he has still intact. So like it is a bit of a contradiction, as you mentioned, with like the Crystal Gems, where like they're trying to reach out to him, but at the same time, I think that it's also just like really digging into the fact that he is imagining in his head that he's losing touch with everyone, and that is manifesting itself like kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of way, like because he's putting himself in these stressful situations. If it works out wrong, it might end up happening. And so like that's kind of Steven's whole deal, and why we're seeing the gradual descent into madness for him.
Yeah, I do agree. I hadn't considered maybe it's just that Steven struggling with the ability to evolve his ways of having friendships. So like you're saying, like he's trying to connect to like the old things that used to work when he was younger and situations were different. But what he really needs to do now is just to form new relationships based on something that makes sense in the present. And that's what he's really missing, which is why it feels like it's falling apart. Because like Steven's not friends with everyone who's like, you know, Connie or Lars or Sadie or, you know, but like in his mind, it's like if things aren't the way they used to be, then like they don't matter anymore. And that's like the whole problem. Steven has to like learn to evolve his friendships, which I guess like maybe that's like partially what happened, you know, with Peridot, because they're enjoying hating this show that is not a good reboot, but that's like the way that they're bonding now in the moment, which is like the best they can do. It's not, it's like maybe that's just the approach he needs to take like on a grander scale with everyone else.
Allie, any thoughts that you want to give into Steven's psyche or anything to do?
Well, you guys were like on point with everything, really. I want him to dive deeper.
You want him to get worse?
No, but well, kind of, because you can only get worse before things can get worse before they can get better. Or at least that's how it's supposed to go. And just want the satisfaction, but I also don't want it to end. I really appreciated that Peridot was so worried for him. That just made me. I didn't cry, but came kind of close. I didn't really expect it from her, but it kind of made sense in the way that, I don't know, like she knows what it's like to go through a lot like at once, and she probably understands that's what he's going through, and I don't know, it just made me happy and sad because I love Peridot, and now I'm sad that the show's going to be over soon.
Well, that's an interesting point you bring up with like Peridot kind of having some connection to Steven in terms of this struggle, because like that was a thing for a while with her and Lapis, that like she didn't have any idea how to like open up a relationship or be create friendships, and
that's true.
That was like
about with the diamonds.
That as well. But like that was a big piece of her character development. So like it's actually a little bit surprising we didn't really touch on that in this episode, but it does speak to how close the relationship between Peridot and Steven is, that like that they can. Peridot it's so reaffirming to like see her at the end. They're like, you know, knowing exactly what to say to Steven when you know that like 2 or 3 seasons ago she'd have no idea how to react to any of this. Maddie, anything you want to add with regards to how this episode deals with Steven's whole struggle here?
I think I talked about that a little bit, but I really do like how we explicitly say that Steven feels like he needs to fix things. He feels like he needs a goal in his friendships for them to matter. He feels like he needs something physical, something like tangible to say like, hey, this is why we're friends, and this is why we continue to be friends. And that makes sense. And that kind of makes sense why I think the season started with Jasper, because Jasper is one of the few people who he still has to work with to help them be better in his eyes. And I think that's why he understands how to talk to Jasper a lot better than everyone else. And I think he finally sees, at least with Peridot at least, that he can just be friends with people. He can just be chill with people. And I hope that it's clear he hasn't fully like internalized that, because he didn't get that with Connie too. But hopefully this continues on and he dives a little deeper into how he feels about things and talks to hopefully the Crystal Gems before this thing ends.
I will say, I'm a bit.
Talk to your mom.
The last episode we had just before this batch was Prickly Pear. It's a little surprising we didn't follow up on that. That felt kind of like an obvious,
that's true.
Jump off point. But so far we haven't really addressed it. But
the finale is going to be
coming. I feel like the shoe is going to drop soon.
The finale of the show is going to be Jasper riding the cactus into battle.
Oh my god.
That sounds painful.
Have we seen the centipede
She's
yet?
tough.
Yeah, we haven't seen Wormy. I keep thinking about
Oh my god,
Wormy. Goodness. I mean, do you guys think so? There was like a theory going around. This is like an old theory at this point, but that Steven was going to be so emotionally broken that he was going to turn into
We're
Wormy.
still on the way there. Where the road is still.
It fits.
Yeah.
It fits. Big,
I
scary, and
honestly
pink.
love
Okay.
Steven to be Wormy, because that would be so freaking
Oh my
hilarious.
God. What if he's Wormy, but like they go off of this whole thing where Steven feels like he needs to connect with people, so he goes evil and he like fuses with people evilly and like just gets longer and longer.
That's like Polly Grandma. He's the evil.
Yeah, but like it kind of fits his whole character arc, doesn't it? Where he like feels like he needs to be connected to people.
my God.
That would get into like.
I hope it doesn't. I don't think it actually is going to happen,
That
but it like surprisingly I think fits with his arc.
Line to force a fusion. If Steven did that, he would really have to.
But, like,
I don't know how he'd make amends.
But like I feel like that plays into like his gem abilities kind of like going out of control.
Yeah, like we
Like,
could go along the lines of like
That's
he's
so
doing it by accident. Yeah.
So yeah.
So we'll definitely keep digging into Steven here. Other brief pieces. The Connie connection here is that at some point he imagines himself as this hunky guy, and he's about to kiss
Oh, no.
a character, and it turns into Connie. Then it turns into Connie as Obsidian, and then Steven gets stomped on by Connie. So Steven dreams of Connie wanting to step on him.
Oh my
It's
God.
as Obsidian. It's not like that.
Steven, I mean, I did honestly think either Steven was gonna like smooch somebody in his dream, and then I saw Connie like, oh, okay, well, I guess that. makes
But then
more
he's
sense than the
afraid.
random
He's
guy.
afraid to kiss.
But then he's afraid. Even so far removed from like normal teenage things. I mean, fine, Steven, but I mean, maybe it's because he fused so early in his relationship with Connie. It's like nothing else will compare. A smooch, get out of here! I felt fusion.
But he
You-
did freak
you
out
know?
when he got kissed on the cheek,
But-
so it's kind of confusing now.
That's
I
So
think
he did
they've
freak
shown successfully with like Amethyst and Smoky Quartz that you can have fusion that is non-romantic.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, but when it's with somebody you also like, I mean,
No, it is different. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that like he specifically I think views most of his fusions as non-romantic. So he doesn't, and he is half human because I mean like all of his fusions have been with people like he clearly is not romantic with,
Yeah.
and so he probably puts kissing on like a pedestal in some way because of his human half.
Ooh, yeah, it's like an elusive human interaction he doesn't
Yeah.
really get. That's true. What?
I mean, the way you described it, an elusive human interaction.
Well, that's how Steven, like we were saying, he hasn't
No,
done
but
the
Michelle-
human stuff in a while.
Michelle,
There are
it
more
sounded like it was an
elusive
elusive
actions.
thing to you. That's
Oh,
what it sounded
no,
like.
no,
you
I
were
wasn't
saying.
implying that. No.
I am saying that explicitly. That's what it sounded like to me.
No,
I mean, sometimes smooching can be
it
elusive.
just sounded like out of a nature
I mean,
documentary.
yeah.
That's all I was thinking of.
I mean, I think that's where Steven is in terms of romance right now. I think it's all kind of a wilderness for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to do. He initiates none of it. So I really wonder, like, that has to come up at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, right? If something's gonna happen, I'm just scared it's gonna be handled badly, because Steven doesn't know what to do about any of that.
I mean, it's gonna be handled badly, Michelle. It definitely is, or there wouldn't be a show.
we
Yeah.
need the
It wouldn't be a show if there was no conflict.
downward spiral must continue.
Connie tries to kiss him and he turns wormy and breaks everything.
They turn into Nega Stevani.
Oh no, God, please.
What would that look like?
I don't know. I was joking.
Like exact opposite of perfection. And then
Ooh,
just-
yeah.
It'd be like
okay.
the color of hollow pearl, it'd be like blue and pale, and it'd be bad.
Ooh, I like that.
Like Jello.
And she has like the like she'll have like an undercut or something.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, I like
I'm
that.
into it. You made me into it.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, not she. It's Stevani's they, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, one piece I like about this episode, that moment where Steven thinks he's woken up from the dream, and then he sees Peridot just kind of stuck watching the TV, and then she turns around, and it's the
oh my God,
like static symbol on her.
I love that so much.
And then like
it felt very like Rose's room.
Yeah.
That like kind of offness that sneaks up on you. You think you're out of it, but then surprise, you're still in the hellscape. I love that energy.
And then it gets
so
and it
good.
gets doubled right after, because like then it follows Peridot to that dream house, and then the entire screen turns into the rainbow static, and it amps up the
it's the old. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen it, but I don't know what the name of it. I know it's not static, but like off the air. Is that what it is?
It's not. It's like the warning thing. Like they shut off all the signal. No signal.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is. I knew it was something that you only got when you like if you had an analog TV and you went up to like channel 97 or 103, it'd be those kind of.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you mess up real bad.
Yeah.
Like I remember that. Like I definitely had that as a kid. It's just I forgot the name.
Right. So digital TV has ruined this for us. We don't get these references anymore.
Yeah. These kids without their no signal things.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But back in the old days where we had to like squint through floating pixels because we couldn't get the signal right through the antenna.
Yeah.
When we got 480p and we were happy with it.
Yeah. Back in the old days when we didn't get any signal on any cell phone.
Cell phone.
I had to wait 15 seconds for a picture to load on my flip phone.
Yeah, or like you sat at home with the dial tone waiting for things to load.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say dial-up. I was like, we're going way back.
Oh, dial-up. That's what I meant, not dial-tone.
I was probably a baby when dial-up was around. I did not experience that.
Yeah, me too.
I think I'm like just old enough that I had it as a kid, and then you guys were like on the cusp.
If you're younger than me, you absolutely did, Maddie.
Okay, then I had it. I'm just... Michelle, you didn't live in my house. I don't know my parents had.
Damn. You don't know me.
But yes, I think you're right, Michelle.
So anyway, that symbol means no signal. Good information for life.
There we go.
I think that means we've gone completely off the rails and we're close to the end.
Yeah, this entire segment of
this
entire segment of the podcast is the audio equivalent of a no signal right now.
Yeah, well, I don't know what we're even talking about right now.
Yeah, well, we're just like going through bits and pieces of the episode that we haven't touched on yet. Stefan is anything with like Steven as adults makes me feel bad. Like Steg was an example of this. This is also an example.
Yeah.
Creepy because he still has like a young-ish Steven voice and he looks too old and it's just wrong.
It also makes me uncomfortable because he's like flirting with the boy and the girl.
Yeah. I know he's flirting with both of them and that's why I was like, is he gonna like smooch somebody by accident because it's his dream and he's like 16 and then it doesn't happen.
That's the thing. It's like because it's a dream, they can kind of get away with it because he's a teenage guy.
But like he was totally flirting with the guy more, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He didn't want to do him dirty, man. He loved him.
Yeah, he had a stronger connection to him than that girl, I would say.
Well, related.
He understands his character.
Well, related to this, we have a scene where they have a whole whiteboard and they're like have everybody's character arcs and all different connections.
This
there.
like web of lies at the top.
Yeah. I know, that was great. Web of lies.
I mean, can we be honest? Does anybody else feel like Peridot with reboots because I know I do.
I thought this was like pointing at the like Steven Universe itself and being like, I don't know what they're doing with this character. Like where they're writing them so weird. I don't know who they're gonna end up with.
I think this is just a classic show that has gone on too long. You know, every show deals with this at some point. You introduce a new character.
Or just a soulless, like a soulless reboot. Like, it's like, oh, it's been 30 years. How about this team that has no connection to the original show just, like, makes a money grab and reboots this thing and it's hot garbage because they don't care? I feel like that's more what it was saying.
Yeah.
How I felt about it. Which is why I was like, okay, I'm not even mad they made this joke because it's fact.
No, I wasn't saying it was bad. It was a good joke.
Wait, which show? We mean like old, like if you were to make like a Firefly reboot in like another 30 years, and like
for some reason my mind went to like Degrassi Next Generation.
Oh, that would be even worse.
I don't know why. I mean, there are all kinds of reasons.
I mean, isn't Degrassi still going in some capacity?
Yes.
It's the third generation. I don't know which generation it is anymore.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh my god. Is Degrassi actually good? I've only ever seen commercials.
I mean, the next generation had its
invested.
moments.
Wait, Alex knows more about this show than I do?
I vaguely.
Oh god.
I vaguely remember
some
many episodes that I, as a young kid.
Oh
my god!
Insane. We found.
So hard.
I am shocked that Alex has consumed a media I have not.
Yeah, Holly J had like a really tacky J necklace.
Oh my god, Holly J! And Twitter was so stupid, and then he like kind of got more stupid.
Oh yeah, Drake was there, right? He was still in the in the wheelchair.
And he gets shot.
What are we talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, Maddie, I've never watched this show.
So
there you go. See, like Degrassi Next Generation, like isn't like the most amazing thing, and I never saw the original, so I can't say if it's like a shadow of its former self. But like, you get invested in the hilarity of the drama anyway. I think
I believe you. I understand what the point of the show is, Michelle.
Well,
I'm just saying,
Funny Hearts too.
No idea what you're talking about.
Has the same kind of reboot like appeal. Like it might be ridiculous and make no sense, but you can enjoy the hilarity of the nonsense.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One final thing I did want to touch. The resolution to this episode is that Peridot and Steven find connection in hate watching a show together. So I did want to throw this out to you at least. What's the last show that you guys hate watched? Maddie, let's go to you first.
Oh, you're gonna do this to me, aren't you? You're gonna make me talk about Sword Art Online, aren't you?
Please, explain more, Maddie.
You didn't have to see it.
What is the fascination with the show? Like, why do you hang on?
I don't know. I watched it. Okay. Before I start, Sword Art Online is like the worst show ever. No one should like it. And by worst, I mean it's like the most like mediocre, awful thing, and it somehow like has. It's bad. It has a lot of like sexual harassment. It has a lot of really horrible harem stuff, and it's somehow just the worst part of it is just like boring, and the fights aren't good, and it's just bad. But my fascination with it is that I have a problem with not like once I start a show, I have this unstoppable urge to keep watching, no matter how bad it is. Yeah, it's like. Because, like, I have this problem where I'm really good at suspending my disbelief, where, like, I could watch something and be like, okay, I'm buying into the idea. And I did that with this show at the beginning, because the first half of the first season of the show, like, the first 13 episodes, were, like, they showed promise. And they showed, like, something might happen. And there was problems with it. But you're like, I could look past this, because the show's actually okay. And then they just decided, hey, no, we're gonna go worse. And so now I'm stuck with this show, Alex. I'm stuck with it, and I hate it. And the worst part of the show is that it spawned off worse shows that are like even worse.
Okay, my condolences, Maddie. Apologies for your suffering.
So what I'm saying is, Sword Art Online made a lot of worse shows. Okay, everyone else can now say their worst shows.
Okay, Allie, let's go to you. I doubt you'll have...
I don't know if I could...
you don't have to top that because that sounds terrible, but like, what's the last show that you watched out of spite?
I feel like that's the last one I can remember, but I definitely stopped after the second season, and I'm trying to remember if I watched something bad recently. I watched one episode of Big Mouth, and then I couldn't do anymore.
Oh, Big Mouth! Oh
There you go.
God!
But I couldn't do more than one
episode
so
doesn't
that
count.
really
It's like
count.
it's like a show that you like
No.
watch like a full seasons of that, even though you don't like it.
Supergirl.
Okay.
Supergirl.
Okay, that is a good choice because at least that's like a show you like to hate. I think.
Yeah, I'm still kind of just watching clips, and even those, the ones that I'm like looking for, are terrible.
I have never watched that show, but it constantly infuriates me because it has like rep. It seems like
It
has
was
a trans
so-
girl, it has a gay girl, it has like.
That's the thing. They do at least some of that right. They don't write it perfectly.
Yeah.
Because the first season was owned by a different network, and they had it like down, and then it changed in the second season, and then everything just kind of went downhill. Like they're trying so hard, and they're adding a lot of good elements, but they're just not executing any of them very well. That's what's really disappointing about it.
All right.
That's mine.
All right. Michelle, anything recent you've hate watched?
Oh my god, I just finished watching Love is Blind on Netflix
God.
with
my
my
God,
friend
why
Matt.
did you watch that,
And like the thing is, I have Johnny Lasso's voice in my head going, "Love is blind," like in that tone every time the title comes up, and I just crack up so hard. It's the worst like piece of like disgusting rotting fluff cake you can imagine. It's so terrible. The plot is that all these thirsty for marriage people like get in these pods and talk to like mystery people, and they don't see them until they get a proposal. And if they accept the proposal, they have to like marry this person in like 4 weeks.
Are you kidding?
You can imagine the kind of
I
drama
remember that.
that
So
like comes from
gross
that
for that.
situation. And there's like a couple of people who are especially just like hot garbage messes of human beings.
And they totally got a relationship on the show.
so insane.
That sounds like The Bachelor at 10.
It sounds like 90 Day Fiancé
so
on
fun to
steroids.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's the one I
God.
know.
It's because literally like a month. Like they meet and get married within a month, and their families get dragged into it. They have to meet each other's families
man.
and pick out wedding dresses and bachelor parties. It's so bad. All of you should watch
What
it
is this
right
called?
now.
I'm kind of interested now.
Well,
It's Love is Blind. It's on
And
Netflix.
and every episode, the hosts that don't matter come back and they're like, "All right, it's time to find out. Is love blind?"
Michelle, here's my biggest issue with this. Why didn't you watch this with me?
Because I watched it with my other friend because he asked first.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fair.
well,
Never mind. I'm not mad. I'm
Yeah,
not mad anymore.
context
I
here
would
is
watch
that several of
that.
us have hate watched different things with Michelle because she seems to be a master at this. I recall.
Well, Michelle is just a fun person to watch
Recent hate
anything with,
watch
honestly.
also. And I hate watch that with Alex.
Wait,
That was
What
such
did
a
you say, Michelle?
such a terrible. Weathering with You is probably the other one I hate watching.
yeah, that's a unique one.
Y'all gotta tell me about that later.
It was
'cause I kinda
just
don't
as
watch
nonsensical as I was led to
But
believe.
Michelle, you also hate watched some of SAO with us.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
terrible. But you compiled a very specific subsection of moments for maximum effect, and those still haunt me. I still
I mean, they should.
Well,
Yeah, they
and it's
should.
been at least a year
I-
or two.
Can I change my answer? What was that anime we watched together out of like
Oh,
example?
Inception.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, we can't talk about that one on a Steven Universe podcast. This needs to be safe for work.
No. But that's my answer.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad. I agree
I'll-
with you.
We should make clear to the listeners, none of these shows
Oh,
are wrecked,
sure,
except
sure,
maybe
yeah.
Love is Blind.
None of these are except maybe Love is Blind is pretty harmless.
I
except
think
for
Michelle, you would
the-
recommend You, right? Like that was a show you kept pushing on
Oh,
me for
yes!
hate watching.
You was so good. It's so cringy, but it's so that show, unlike any other show, just pulls you in its insanity of webs of nonsensical like dialogue and thought process, and it's so fun.
Yeah, so that's probably like
There's
Camp
so-
Pining Hearts if the characters were murderers.
Oh, yeah, Lives definitely holds
Well, no,
true for you.
Weren't they murderers? Because they did. Peridot said she did bury a body.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, they talked about burying a body
Oh,
in the
man.
show.
But I wondered if that was literal, and then I was like,
No,
okay.
I think that was
It
real.
was. Yeah, that was literal. She killed someone
Wow,
with him.
I missed
And
this
then she was
entirely.
upset about cheating at card.
Wait, with
Yeah.
him? I missed that.
Yeah.
No, this is at the very end of the episode.
They're like fighting, and she's like, "Why are you mad that he cheated at cards if you just buried a body together?"
Yeah, they literally talked about it.
Together.
Yeah.
It
Damn.
was very good.
Well, if you
That's
survive this entire conversation, you figured out that somebody died in this episode. So good job for listening through all of this.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah,
Alex, this is the furthest off the rails you've gone.
yeah, but.
Although
I will argue we are off the rails, but also we are very connected to the material of this episode. So
Oh yeah, we're totally on theme here.
So,
but I feel like Dylan's gonna listen to this and be like, "What were you even talking about for like 20 minutes?"
we were talking about the grand landscape of media as Peridot would want us to do. I'm sure Peridot has similarly strong opinions about all the shows we just talked about. Any final thoughts about the Steven Universe episodes before I begin my spiel about getting out of here? Michelle, any final thoughts?
Given the most recent promo had so much of like angry Pink Steven crashing around, there wasn't enough Pink Steven in these two. I want more Pink Steven. Give me him at the end of his rope insanity. I need to see where the end is, if there is an end.
Okay, so Michelle approves of the Descent into Madness. Good to know. Allie, your final thoughts?
Yes.
I'm also waiting to fall into the pit with Steven. I'm like, I appreciate the build up, but I need the payoff, but I also don't want the show to end. So it's a very conflicting feeling. But I really enjoyed these episodes, and I didn't expect like the lightheartedness from the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 votes for the mental breakdown. Maddie, final thoughts?
I think I've given enough thoughts to this podcast, and I won't give you one to edit. Thank you,
Good enough.
Alex. This was a great podcast.
I'll take yours as a vote of no confidence on that. I also vote for the mental breakdown. So 3 out of 4.
Mental breakdown.
Let's see Steven unravel. Come on, we're getting to it. So these were very fun episodes. I'm glad to have Steven Universe back in my life. I will try to cherish it for as much as I can, given now we know that the end is near for the future, for Steven Universe future.
The
The end is nigh. But yeah, we will be here to talk about all the final episodes of this show in excruciating detail, as you have witnessed up to now. So if you enjoyed this podcast, you can always go to overlyanimated.com and check other stuff that we've talked about in the past. You can join us on Discord if you want to chat with us about Steven Universe or any other animation out there at overlyanimated.com/Discord. You can support us financially via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Frankly, if you've enjoyed our ramblings, then we would greatly appreciate any support to allow us to continue meeting up like this. Thanks to our patron of the podcast, especially, thanks to our patron of the podcast, Hope, aka Katara. Thanks to our Patreon executive producers, Ryan, Steve, Beatrice, Hugh, Michael, and Needle. Besides this final month of Steven Universe, we are also covering other very different shows such as Glitch Text, Castlevania, maybe She-Ra's around the corner someday. A lot of shows going on, a lot of animated movies as well. Just keep an eye on overlyanimated.com to check all the latest. But until next week when we get the next 2 episodes. Do I want to read the names of the episodes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want what they are. Is Wormy in one of them?
Oh my god. I don't think, Michelle, since this is your fan name of this character, I don't think your fan name Wormy is in this
You're forgetting he literally is a worm. Wormy is the obvious choice for that.
He is a centipede. If the thing is actually called Wormy, Michelle, I will like.
I get $5. Is that why?
I will give you $5 if it's actually
the important.
Also, this is assuming you aren't cheating because you work in Cartoon
come
Network.
on, don't do that.
Don't do that. That's not true.
Also, I would like to point out that the
joking.
SpongeBob episode Wormy describes it as big, scary, and pink, which might also apply to Steven, really.
Thank you. I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
This is coming up.
Exactly. That's where it's gonna happen.
But yes, Michelle, I will give you $5 if they call it Wormy in any way, shape, or form.
Okay,
great. What are the titles?
Growing Pains, Wormy.
Okay.
and-
That could be a word.
And
Yeah.
together forever. Following along.
Oh,
Ooh.
Oh no, Steven's gonna do something bad.
And so,
I think it's gonna be a Garnet episode.
Oh wait, okay. That's
Well,
better.
well-
that's the only way that could
well,
sound nice.
we shall see. We shall see. But until next week, when
Man,
Together
so
Forever and
break
Growing
down.
Pains come back, we'll be here to talk about them. Talk to you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, bye.
You're not ready to say goodbye, are you, Michelle?
No,
Oh my God.
I started to think of like, what if it starts off as a Garnet episode? And he's like, "Wow, you're like so happy together
Michelle,
forever."
just
I
say
should do that
bye.
with Connie, and then it all goes wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
He's
that
like,
is a-
That's where I'm.
He's like, "We should be together forever
Alex,
too,"
are
just
we
like
off
Who
air?
even knows anymore, Maddie? What is on air? What is off air anymore? It's all a blur.
Michelle, just say bye.
Bye.
No, wait, are you still
We're in the second level of the dream, Ellie. Okay. Peridot has the no signal glasses in this level.
Come on, Connie.
Let's be together
Let's-
forever.
Liz,
This is honestly, I think the problem.
maybe he'll try to turn her pink like Lars so that they can be together forever.
Oh Lord!
Oh,
That means he
God.
has to kill her.
You're going
no.
to college?
What?
Let me use you as a portal so we can always see each other.
Ugh.
Yes, Alex decided.
You guys, she has to die for that to be possible.
We can arrange that.
Connie has to die. Oh my
Split
God.
with Connie. I want to be together forever.
So I think watching Castlevania before this did not help us like stay on
I
topic.
didn't even finish it yet. I'm terrified.
Don't worry, Connie.
Okay,
you'll be
you
dead
should
for
go
5
then.
minutes. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay.
Oh my
Now we're
God.
off the.